Hello and welcome everyone, Honoree-Louise here with a new filming location. Today I'm going to talk about what I'm working on using the Authortube work in progress tag. I think this tag was created by author Jessie Elias, so I'm going to put her original video down below. And without any further ado, let's get into the questions. Question 1. What is the working title of your book? So I'm working on a book series which I'm gonna call the Faces of Being series, and the first book, which is the one that I'm working on now, is called Children of Fate. The second book is gonna be Messengers of Death, and the third book is projected to be Protector of Life, but you know, things can change. Question 2. Where did the idea for your book come from? It's a long story. If you count the very first version of this book, it was supposed to be a manga series, and it started when I was in high school, so more than a decade ago. What happened at the time is that I was super into mangas, and what I noticed is that you never see ngũ hành or wuxing, if you want to use the Chinese pronunciation, as the central point of the magic system in those series. You either have the 4 elements, fire, water, air, earth, as the elemental magic system, or you have something that contains wuxing elements such as metal and wood as well, but then also contain like a host of other things. So that's why the motivation for me was to create a magic system that is centered around wuxing, which is the 5 phases magic system, where you have water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. Obviously, I didn't end up being a manga artist, so it's kind of got put on the back burner a little bit, but I was still thinking about it. And what happened is that the idea of the series go from an urban fantasy set in modern day Vietnam with magic in it to becoming a historical fantasy. And then I figured out that, you know, it was too hard to actually follow actual history and still have the plot the way that I want. It has now become a secondary world fantasy that is kind of based on some historical period in Vietnam. Question 3. What genre is your current work in progress? So it's high fantasy. I plan this as an adult fantasy, but I can see it being marketed as young adult as well, because all of the main characters started out as a teenager, and they will go into, some of them will go into their 20s, but not many, and you can kind of, you know. Question 4. Choose the actors for your movie rendition. So the thing is, I don't have anyone in mind. I was not looking at real people at all when I was designing the character. Because my very first design for them were manga characters. I drew them basically. And I feel like now it's really hard to go and look at real people who actually have the exact feature as I designed them. So I just don't do that. If it's become a movie or a TV series, then you will have casting director for that. Yeah. Okay. Question 5. Give a sentence synopsis of your book. This is hard. This is really hard. I have a blurb thing on my website, but it's super long, so let's try it. I wrote down something, but it may not be that good. So this series follows 4 young guardians, that is, humans gifted with magic to fight demons, amid the escalating conflict between humans and demons, as well as a power struggle within the humans themselves. It's kind of vague, but yeah, there you have it. Question 6. Will your book be self-published or represented by an agency. So I'm hoping to go through traditional publishing, so it will be hopefully represented at some point. Question 7. How long did it take for you to write the first draft of your manuscript? Forever. So if you count when I first conceived the idea until now, it's more than a decade, as I mentioned. And I haven't finished the first draft. I finished the first draft of the first act of the first book. Now I'm kind of revising that a little bit and expanding it before I'm going on to the second act. But if you count just when I actually put pen to paper to write as a novel instead of a manga series, then I started in around April 2017, and by the end of 2017 I have that first chunk. And yeah, I've been dragging my feet in the revision and extension because I also dabble in other projects, which is probably not the way to go, but oh well. Question 8. What other books would you compare your story to? It is a bit hard to find a good comparison because it is similar to a lot of things, but sometimes it's mostly at a superficial level. So I'm just going to go with what people would likely to associate with it first, what is not necessarily similar in more depth, I guess. So I think the first thing that should be mentioned is Avatar: The Last Airbender, just because it has an elemental magic system and East Asian elements. I just watched Avatar like this last winter break, and I can say now that the plot is nothing similar. Another series that this one I actually drew some inspiration from is the Mistborn series. Not much about the plot in the character, but about the world building, in the sense that I'm building this world with the explicit intention of continuing on with a second series that is set a few hundred years after the first series has ended. And by then we will see the science and technology and basically knowledge of the magic has evolved and the society has evolved with it. That was what I took from Mistborn. It's awesome. Question 9. Who or what inspired you to write the book? I think I kind of addressed this when I talk about where the idea came from. Question 10. What else about your book might pique reader interest? One thing I really like about the book, you know, I like a lot of things about it, it's my book. But one thing I really like about the book is the female friendship between two of the 4 main characters in the series. They're cousins and they grew up together, and even when their paths sort of diverge and they don't get to communicate with each other as often anymore, you can still see like they're super supportive of each other. And that's it. Thank you for listening to me ramble about my project. I would love to hear if you have anything that you're working on. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on in my next video.